Princess, I've been awaiting your arrival.
Thank you. Let's begin the mission briefing.
Yes. As I'm sure you all know from our scouts' reports, the Northern forces have been busy deploying their new con mines in and around Ruhalt Basin. In addition to having normal landmine features, they appear to be capable of being tripped by con generation, inflicting massive damage via directed explosion. During the battle at Ruhalt, it is these landmines that we need to be most wary of. Next, there are two pillars in the Ruhalt Basin. The first one is located in the center of the basin. To reach it, you must first cross a bridge that is defended by Northern forces. The other is located in the northeastern corner of the basin. This location is the headquarters of their forces amassed in Ruhalt Basin, and the soldiers' camp is located there. The Southern forces have already retaken Old Fox Canyon and Dunin Hill. The southern edge of Belfort is under our control. As a result, the Northern forces' troops here are stuck between a rock and a hard place. According to our intel, the Northern forces seem to be withdrawing the operational units they have stationed here in stages. This leads us to believe that they may be gathering all their forces in Belfort for an all-out counteroffensive. This is a golden opportunity to capture and occupy Ruhalt Basin.
Thank you for the report. We mustn't let this chance pass us by. We will make for the Ruhalt Basin at once.
If we are victorious in this battle for Ruhalt, Belfort will be almost close enough to touch.
We are now finally able to put an end to this war that has dragged on for so long.
If we had uncovered the Sentinels' weak spot a little sooner, this war might have long since been decided. A year ago, Rue succeeded in obtaining information on the Sentinels. But in the confusion of Elgar pursuing her, that information was lost.
You refer to when the princess defeated Elgar?
Yes. Elgar suddenly appeared and hounded her every move. Now that I think about it, it does seem rather unnatural, doesn't it? Did we have a leak somewhere? The fact is, ever since that incident, I've been conducting my own quiet investigation.
Lord Alex, there is an urgent message for you.
There is? I see. Raud, the briefing is over. Let's discuss this further some other time.
Yes.
What in the world are you doing here?
It's been a long time, Alex. I wanted to tell you that I appreciate your directing this civil war according to our agreement for all this time.
The war will be over soon, yes? I take it that I will sit on the throne next to the Queen as her husband, as you promised.
Unfortunately, that is no longer the case.
You're going to break your word now?
You are content with sitting by the Queen's side as her husband? You lack ambition. I say, you yourself ought to become Lonsheim's king.
King?
Oh, why act so surprised? It is entirely plausible.
I didn't want to believe it, yet here it is. Lord Alex is a...
A letter addressed to me came to my cube. Gosh, it's from the chief. I wonder what it says.
Dear Celestine, how are you? Knowing you, you are doing well in the outside world. I plan to hold your coming-of-age ceremony in Cota Mare. When you have a spare moment, please, return to the village.
Wow, my coming-of-age ceremony! I'm finally having my coming-of-age ceremony too!
A coming-of-age ceremony? You are?
When a Mare reaches a certain age, we have a very special coming-of-age ceremony for that person. And when the ceremony is complete, that person is finally recognized as a full-fledged adult. I finally come of age! Now, I'm an adult too! Woohoo!
I didn't know that the Mare had such a custom. Congratulations, Celestine.
Of age? How is this kid mature? Her brain is still like a little child's.
Rosa, my goodness! Is that any way to talk to your elder sister? I've come of age, don't you know?
To the Mare, the coming-of-age ceremony is an important ritual. When this battle is over, let's stop by Cota Mare.
Argo, you want to see my coming-of-age ceremony too? This means that I'll be a full-fledged adult, so we can get married at any time!
Hello everybody and welcome back to Magna Carta 2. The plot thickens once again, and we've just taken the Karma back towards Dunan Hill. And from here, we need to go to Dunan Field, which in turn is going to take us over to the Ruhalt Basin. However, Celestine's coming-of-age ceremony is taking place in Cota Mare, which is on the way to Ruhalt Basin, so although we've been given this big, important mission, it's gonna have to go on a temporary hold. I'm gonna pick up a couple of side missions as well. First thing we need to do is speak to Raud. And he's gonna give us a letter that was from Alex. And this is something that we're going to need to deliver once we make it to Ruhalt Basin. So we're gonna hold on to this for a little while. We need to locate the defecting Northern Forces soldiers in the Battle of Ruhalt. And then we're going to carry on from here. I do believe that you are able to go down towards Dunan Hill and pick up anything you might have missed on your first trip here, but the only thing you probably would have missed would have been a few little minor treasure chests or something, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to make my way through this area. I'm using my strong party. I'm using Rue Crocel and Judo. The only enemies in this area that are going to be hard to defeat without Zephy are the Fafongs. We fought the regular Fongs back in Opposite Field, where we were learning about using one of Zephy's special abilities to attack them. They have really high agility, and so you won't be able to attack them by normal means. So I'm going to go ahead and ignore them. They're really not tough or any sort of danger. They're nothing that you really want to take care of. You can basically fight everything else for the experience and ignore them completely. All the enemies in this area have all leveled up to your level, of course, so it is worth defeating all of the enemies for all of the experience. We're going to pick up our first treasure chest here before we descend down this narrow sort of corridor. And we're not going to have to spend very long in this area before we're going back to Cota Mare, so we'll do a little bit of grinding here, and then when we get to Cota Mare, hopefully we can do a little bit of grinding there as well. And by the time we actually get to Ruhalt Basin, we should be more than prepared to go there. We should have a couple of levels up and whatnot. And as you can see here, there's a pretty wide variety of enemies. No soldiers for once, which is really nice. But we're seeing some boars, some of the beasts, which we've seen before, of course. There's also the Colossus, which was a mini-boss type enemy that we were supposed to kill for a quest. He's now a regular enemy, so be on the lookout for that. There's a chest here for a con control command on the side of this building here, and there's also some fafongs to fight. Again, I'm going to completely ignore them if I can.
Are you prepared?
If I wanted to put Zephy in, I could, but I put this party in for a very specific reason, just for the fact that they're very tough, so it's going to allow me to get through this area a lot quicker. Because I don't really want to spend all the time fighting all the enemies here. I just kind of want to get to Cota Mare, because I'm sort of interested in this coming-of-age ceremony. I think Celestine said that she was about 12 years old, so she's probably turning 13 or so, and the Mare people only live to their 40s. So Celestine's sort of almost middle-aged at this point, which I guess is the point of adulthood, so we get to kind of see what the Mare's festivals are all about, which I think is pretty cool. And there should be a chest to grab before you go into Cota Mare. And if I miss it this time, I can always get it on my way back. Oh, there it is. When you come to the fork here, you can keep on going to go towards Ruhalt Basin, or you can take a left, and that's going to take you to Cota Mare. Alright, so I'm probably going to skip most of the monsters and just walk straight to Cota Mare from here. And I'm not really sure if you can do this set of events later on, because you can get to Cota Mare from Abazet by using the undersea tunnel, but I've always just kind of taken the detour and coming into Cota Mare now. I don't want to miss the opportunity to do the side quests here. You'd be really locking yourself out of a lot of really neat sort of side story and quests and whatnot if there was an opportunity to miss it, which wouldn't be fun. And it will give you an advantage by doing all the leveling up and whatnot, so I would just recommend skipping Ruhalt Basin for now and doing this quest as soon as it becomes available. It's just going to be easier for you that way. We haven't been here in a little while, but everything is very much the same enemies and whatnot, but of course they have all leveled up. And once you get to the village, you're going to want to make Celestine your party's leader. So I'm going to switch my formation and put her in. And the reason you're going to want to do this is because the Mare people won't speak to any of your other party members about Celestine's coming of age ceremony. So you won't actually be able to speak to any of the Mare to start any of the side quests. You have to actually talk to them as Celestine. So the first stop is going to be the chief's house. We need to speak to her, which will give us our 1000 experience reward for coming to talk to her about the coming of age ceremony. And we're going to have to perform 3 rituals: the rite of nature, strength, and incense. And we need to speak to Nestin, Keitin, and Schuenzeit, which are 3 Mare. And they're each going to tell us a little bit about each of the trials. Now they're all very close together, so it makes it very easy for you. And of course we'll also have the exclamation points highlighted on the map if you are having troubles finding them for whatever reason. Nestin is standing here in the big circle. She's going to tell us about the rite of nature. We need to pick a flower called Acelina's Tear off of a monster called the Grommy. It's a big, or I shouldn't say it's a very small, cowardly monster that will flee if it sees you. So you basically need to sneak up on the monster and pluck the flower from the top of its head. So this is sort of a unique looking monster. We haven't seen this one before. And we're just going to be able to randomly find it in Cota Mare. I always find it hanging outside the village, which is usually makes it pretty easy to find. We can speak to this Mare here about the Rite of Incense. And this is basically a collection sort of quest. She's going to ask us to extract incense from places in Navy Blue Marsh. And the places that we're going to get the incense from is very distinctive because you can see the incense rising up from the ground. And we're going to need to collect 4 samples of incense. And this is going to take us all over Navy Blue Marsh. So we are going to have to do a little bit of walking, although that quest isn't overly complicated. And finally, we can talk to Kurloiti about the Rite of Strength. And so this is going to be a monster hunting quest. Once we go up back towards Dunan Hill where we came from, we'll be able to find a monster called the Union. And our mission is going to be to kill it and take its horn. And it looks like this. Again, another unique sort of monster, big looking guy. Hopefully it won't give us too much trouble. So when you've collected all 3 of the side quests, you can come back out to Navy Blue Marsh and start. It really won't take us very long, but I am going to save that for the next video. And at this point, if you don't want to have Celestine in your party while you're performing these rites, you don't have to. It doesn't lock you out of the quests or anything like that if you take Celestine out of your party. But just remember that if you're coming back into Cota Mare and you need to speak with the Mare people, do make sure that Celestine is selected as your leader. So anyways, next time we will start on Celestine's rites into her coming of age ceremony. Thanks for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.